The video is going to focus on rail operations at Robson and West Robson BC, which were both near Castlegar. The Canadian Pacific Railway owned both the Columbia and Kootenay Railway that came from Nelson down to Robson, and the Columbia and Western Railway that ran from Rosslyn over to Midway. We will get into detailed operations of both of these sites through this video. Looking in detail at the Castlegar area, the Columbia and Kootenay Railway, built by the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1891 from Nelson to Robson, comes in from the right-hand side. The purple line is the railway following the Kootenay River to the south. When the Kootenay River joins the Columbia River, it heads west along the Columbia River and it terminates at Robson. The green area is the barge operations area that we'll be focused on today. It's May 23rd, 1901, and we're in Robson, British Columbia on the Columbia River. This is going to be a drone view of the Columbia and Kootenay Railway western terminus at Robson. We're starting at the south end of the yards, at the yard limits, as we arrive from Nelson. As we move along here, we come upon the main, which is below us, and the siding to the right. As we come along here to the left, we start seeing the passenger wharf for the sternwheelers. We have the station building to our right there. We have the water tower. And off to our left, we have our barge slip with a 2-track barge slip. And at the end here, we have the engine house with a runaround track. Okay, number 79, the Nelson to Robson AM freight is arriving at the south end of the Robson yard. We're just coming up on the thing. It's being pulled by a Class M1 280 built in 1990. So that's heading up train. This train is all coke and coal cars bound for the Boundary region. The first 2 coke cars are going to the Anaconda smelter in Greenwood. A couple coal cars going to the Anaconda smelter. Coal car going to Greenwood. Coal cars going to Midway. Then we have some coke cars going to the Granby smelter in Grand Forks. A couple coal cars going to the Granby smelter. A coal car that's heading up to Farron, and then we have the last 2 coal cars going to Eholt Junction for the CPR. Okay, the SS Columbia has brought the morning barge load of cars over from West Robson to Robson. These are all empties from the Boundary region, from Grand Forks, from Greenwood, from the smelters at Granby and at Anaconda, and from Midway. So we'll be unloading these here on the Robson side. Okay, engine number 787 is coupled onto this first string of empties coming off the barge at Robson. It's got a load of empty coke and coal coming out of Grand Forks, which will be the first string off of the track here. Then he'll come back and come down and pick up the other string of empties coming from Greenwood and Midway. With these 2 strings of cars, he'll push them back onto the siding, couple onto the caboose for the trip back to Nelson, and then he will pick up the loaded train and come down to the barge and put the loads onto the barge. You'll notice the stock cars were used to haul coke by the CPR. Okay, the barge at Robson is now unloaded. Engine 787 has the full car of 14 cars of empties, just pulling up the barge slip there. He'll pull forward to the far end of the spur, and then he'll be backing over to the siding. Okay, the SS Minto is just arriving at Robson, coming into the passenger wharf, having arrived from Revelstoke, running down the length of the Arrow Lakes. Okay, here's a driver's side view of the Minto coming into Robson as we come up to the passenger wharf. Engine number 787 is just working the loaded train there beside us. Number 41, the Nelson to Robson first class passenger train is just arriving at Robson at the station. It's pulled by a Class L3280 built in 1896, and we'll be stopping here at the station first to register, and then we'll move down to the passenger track on the steamer wharf. Engine number 787 is just pushing in the first of the loaded cars onto the barge slip. These first set of cars will be heading over to Greenwood, Midway, and Eagle Junction. The second set will be heading into Grand Forks for the Granby smelter. Each track takes 7 cars, so these are 14-car barges. And you can just see in the background there the passenger train pulling forward, and it'll be backing down the barge slip. Okay, passenger train number 41 is just backing down the steamer wharf and coming in along beside the Minto at Robson. Passengers coming from Nelson will be able to board the Minto heading up to Revelstoke, but also across to West Robson, where you catch the trains to Grand Forks, Greenwood, Midway, and Trail and Rossland. Okay, the barge is fully loaded now. The engine will disconnect here. Then we'll head down to the turntable to turn around and head back to Nelson with the empties. The SS Columbia will now take the barge back out and move across the Columbia River to West Robson, where we can join the trains into the Columbia and Western.